Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Jerry.
I'll start out with a few questions for you.
Shirley.
So, go ahead and give me your name.
Michael Preston Ernest, E-A-R-N-E-S-T.
All right. And when were you born?
May 7, 1940.
Very good, very good. Where are you from?
All over.
All right.
I was born in Batesville, Arkansas, but I consider my family roots here in the Walker County area of Alabama.
All right. So, did you grow up in Arkansas, or?
I born in Batesville, Arkansas, and lived my first 12 years there, and loved being a kid there. And then my dad got a job in India and spent 3 years in India, an exotic place, and then moved back to the U.S. and lived and got all my education in the northeast part of the country.
Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite memory from growing up?
I think being in the outdoors, playing in the fields, wading in the streams, catching crawdads, doing things with my buddies out in the woods. Those are my most favorite memories from being a little kid. And then in India, just I was an early teens kid then, exploring the world of that exotic country. And just amazing for me.
Now, what took your father to India?
My dad was a construction man, and he was hired by the government of India to come there and help build a large dam hydroelectric project in the north of India. We were one of 45 American families in the cadre of people who were guiding the construction of the dam.
Okay. And did you spend part of that in school there?
We were basically homeschooled the first year, and then by the second year there were enough American families that my mother and another mother put together an American school, and we took a correspondence course out of Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, very good. All right. So, tell me about your parents, who they were.
Okay. My dad was Evans Hall Ernest, born here in Walker County down the Oakman area. He was the youngest of 14 kids on a red dirt farm down there, and when he finally left the farm, he went to the coal mines to work there. The job was obtained through the help of his brother Doc, who was a mine inspector for the Bureau of Mines, I believe. And Dad worked in the coal mines a bit, and then got a job with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers doing some exploratory drilling over along the Black Warrior River, I believe it was. And after that, just started moving around the country and then around the world doing construction projects. The latter part of his career was spent almost entirely on international projects. He only had a 6th grade education, but was the smartest man I've ever known. Of course, everybody feels that way about their dad. But he was a man of very powerful moral values as well, and I learned a lot from him. My mom was from the Grace and Preston families here in Walker County.
And her name?
Cleo Von Seal Preston, and then Ernest after she married Dad. She, by education, had gone to a 2-year teacher's college, I believe up in Florence, and taught school, and was teaching school down in Oakman when Mom and Dad met. Dad was still working on the farm at that time. So they met in Oakman and were married in Oakman in 1937. After I was born in 1940, she never taught again until we were in India. When I was a teenager, she taught briefly there. She was very active in church affairs and led all sorts of committees and social events for the church. And from her, I got a love of learning, a love of culture, a love of music, the value of education. My dad supported the education as well very much. So Mom and Dad together gave me just everything I've had, and I'm grateful to them forever.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you. What was your profession, and where do you currently live?
Okay. I, in India, saw medical missionaries at work, and so decided I wanted to be a doctor. That was even as a teenager. So I went through college and medical school in the Northeast, and became a neurologist eventually, and then moved to Denver after my training in the East Coast. And my wife Vicki and I have lived there ever since, and I practiced neurology there and taught neurology in the University of Colorado School of Medicine.
Okay. Very briefly, how many kids do you have?
We have 3 kids: Beth, who's a teacher in Seattle; David, who's a teacher at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia; and Joshua, our adopted son, who works in the kitchen, is a chef in the kitchen of a local hospital in Denver.
Okay, very good. All right, and I have one more question.
Sure.
What kind of wisdom would you like to pass down to future generations about life and family history?
About life, I think the short summary is look inside yourself to find out what's really important, and recognize that everything passes except what's really important. And you've got to find that inside yourself, and then in relationship to other people. In terms of family, is go through your adolescent and early 20s rejection of family values, and then return to your family and say thank you for all the things the people before you have given you.
Okay, that's very good. I appreciate that comment. All right. Well, thank you. That's all that I have.
Okay.
And that's a wrap.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy.